Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Some Nerdy Stuff. Well, podcast episode. I don't know. Is it a podcast? I don't know. They can't see us yet, so.
It's our 17th episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome to the 17th episode, guys. Hope y'all are doing good at whatever time you're listening to this. It's right now for us, it is September 8th. It's Wednesday.
Quarter to 6.
Yeah, it's officially getting towards that fall season.
Yeah, spooky season's coming through.
Spooky season is coming through.
We can't
wait. Yeah, exactly. But we got a lot to discuss today. It's been a while, and we've been doing a lot, so we got a lot of things to catch up on.
True.
I guess first and foremost, we'll start off with the rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, one of the goats, just like somebody who's just always been around our whole childhood.
Word. And every movie. Word.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whether it's every movie, obviously The Wire. You know what I'm saying? Even down to shitty movie as it was, Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean? He was just always in everything. It was just dope, so dope. Growing up, seeing somebody like that, you growing up wanting to be an actor. It's you always question can I be accepted? With
Word.
the way I look.
Word.
On camera and shit like that, and to see somebody like him who, grew up, had this big scar on his face, but just was still given opportunities and being able to kill it in every role he was given.
Yeah.
Every role this dude was given. He's somebody who just always understood the assignment type shit.
Word.
We talked about Idris Elba and in Suicide Squad, even in movies where the movie isn't good, he has never delivered a bad performance.
Word.
So at 54, it sucks to see him gone. We'll miss him, and not gonna get into obviously all the stuff around it because it's whatever. But R.I.P. to him. We'll miss him, and stream his movies. Go watch his stuff. Try to give it a check out the amazing work that he accomplished in his life. So
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Next next thing on the to-do list is to discuss. The agenda of discussions is obviously, let's just get right to it, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, bro. If you're listening to this, if you haven't seen Shang-Chi,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I guess it's a quick, non-spoiler. If you haven't seen Shang-Chi, there's nothing I can say to sell it to you other than the fact that it's hands down Marvel's best origin film. It's just one of the best movies they've made, I think since especially Phase 1.
When it comes to origin films, yeah.
Yeah, not even just origin film, but just movies altogether. This is for me top 5 Marvel films. It's just, I've seen it twice now, and it's so fucking perfect. I can't stop thinking about it. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's so worth it. They just actually exceeded the box office expectations. They came in basically over the 4-day weekend for Labor Day about $90 million.
Pocket change.
Yeah, which I think is one of the biggest since the pandemic. So it's
That's good, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to see it get that kind of love. A lot of people went out and saw it. So, if you haven't yet, go give the movie the support. Let's get this thing over $100 million, which obviously it will at this point.
It probably already is at this point.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a sequel. We're definitely gonna see him.
Yeah.
Come back, for sure. So now, if you have seen the movie, let's get into spoilers.
First of all the fight scenes were crazy.
Everything
was crazy.
Everything, because it was a mix of it all. It was a mix of you got some you got a mix of the raid with the close intense action. You had the more fantasy martial arts that were used a lot more in older martial arts films, but then you also have that Jackie Chan-ness of it, you know what I mean? The way he was fighting on the bus, when he took the jacket off, was fighting, then the way he put it back on, it was just a nice blend of all different, I think, types of traditional martial arts film tropes, but done in a respectable way where it all made sense and was connected together.
That's the thing I liked about it too, because Shang-Chi's not a very popular character, so I feel like what they did with his origin story, they made it simple, they made it make sense, and then also made the movie. At the same time, I thought it was a very easy movie to get into, especially for people who have absolutely no idea who he is.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, he was a character that, again, to me, he's a character I would say the Guardians, where it's I was aware of them, I knew of them, but I never read any of their stuff specifically, until after the movies came out. But So with Shang-Chi, it was also nice, whereas like when I first announced and stuff, I purposely like stayed away from any like looking up anything on him because, not in the sense of like trying to avoid like, you know, because I think it like never hurts to like jump on a bandwagon. Like people always make it seem like it's a bad thing. It's like, oh, you just heard about him because of the movie and now you know him. Yeah, if you're an OG fan, sometimes like, it's annoying when you see a character get so popular and loved, and you're like, I was there from the beginning. But realistically, it's like the whole point of you loving that character is you want everybody to know about him and love him. Like,
facts.
So, like, yeah, if you truly love something, it's like you want it to be the most popular thing. So it's like for Shang-Chi, it's like I did not want to not look it up because of a bandwagon type of thing. I just did it because I wanted the first time to be able to see a comic book film where I didn't know anything. It's because especially like when you and me go see these movies, half the time I already like know what's gonna happen. Because I've already read this storyline, or I already knew about like I've watched this like animated movie, and so I know like, oh, they're adapting this, or I know all behind the scenes stuff. So it was nice for once going into a movie where it's like, this is a Marvel movie, like all this stuff's happening, and I don't know what it's referencing in terms of like, oh, is this part of this storyline from the comics, and is that the route they're gonna go? It's like, nah, bro, like I just knew his dad was the Mandarin, and like that.
Which is refreshing to you.
Yeah, you know exactly. Yeah. That's why I think I also love the movie so much, because it was like, for me, for the first time in like years, I was able to see a movie where I'm like, I don't know anything about this. Like, I know nothing about his family, his sister, his mother, like nothing. Where it's like, this is and Tony Leung as the Mandarin.
Killed it, bro. Everybody killed it. Honestly, and him and Awkwafina's relationship throughout the movie was fantastic. Like I love their chemistry. I loved everything about it.
Everybody brought their A game. Everybody brought their A game. The director, everybody. And the director, he, my bad. Like I want to make sure I just got his name because I don't want to. Nope. I hate this stuff. Just show me the movie. There we go.
Show me the movie.
Destin Daniel Crenton. I don't know what it says. Yeah. Cretan. Destin Daniel Cretan. Yeah, he was the director of a movie called Short Term 12, which was actually one of the first roles that Lakeith Stanfield ever got.
Oh, interesting.
And it deals with Brie Larson. Actually, here, I'll just look it over here so you can see the cast. Because it's one of those, like, I know you don't always know people by their names, but once you saw, like, the actual cast, you're like, oh, yes, I've seen these guys. Yes, here we go. There we go. So
Keith Stanfield as Keith Stanfield.
So you got like Keith Stanfield, Rami Malek, Brie Larson, and basically it's about.
It's a good cast.
Yeah, it's a nice little cast, and it's basically about these people who work in a group home, and kids who don't really have anywhere to go and stuff like that, and Rami Malek's character plays like the new guy who's here to help take care of the kids. Who are, like some of them, suicidal watch, stuff like that, like Keith Stanfield's character and everything, and it's a really powerful film, but for something that's also just like, it was a small film that no one really talked about or saw, but it made headlines in the indie films and stuff at the festivals, and it came out in 2013, which is also why it was dope to see Captain Marvel as a cameo at the end, because it's a little nod between the fact that they've worked together before. Because I believe she's been in every film he's directed. Like, Brie Larson has had some role in everything he's directed. Because, he also did Just Mercy, Glass House. So, he's always had her in his films.
Okay. Seems like they're cool together.
Yeah, so it's always even nice to just have, a little cameo with her at the end. But yeah, no, I just thought he did an amazing job directing this movie, but obviously when you see his filmography here, I like that they didn't just go with let's go find the guy who's done martial arts films. It's no, they went with the Asian director who has just an amazing filmography. Period.
Word.
With Just Mercy, with Short Term 12, with the Glass House, which I actually I didn't think it was the best movie, but I actually did like the story, and I loved the performance of Woody Harrelson and Brie Larson. Yeah, so I think I hope he comes back. Obviously, I think he's for sure gonna come back to probably do it, and you know, I hope he does more in the Marvel universe. You know.
Yeah, killed it, bro.
Yeah.
Especially if they decide to make a second one. They already announced at the end.
Yeah.
The 12 Rings will be back. You know.
Exactly, and I hope that even that's even like I hope that's even could be more than that, because I hope that's not just the Shang-Chi thing. Like they can do a Disney Plus series that he could probably write. You know what I mean? And produce and direct like the pilot episode.
But it could be like starring his sister. Like it's 10 Rings.
Exactly. Like they could have a whole Disney Plus series for her. Like if they really wanted to.
Yeah, facts.
So I'm. Again, like I just love Shang-Chi. There's not much more I can say that anybody else hasn't said. Like you said, the action is amazing. The Awkwafina and his relationship is like just so great. I love that they used her in the perfect way, where like they didn't overuse her. They didn't do what they did with Michael Pena in Ant-Man. While I think it works with the character Luis, and I enjoy that character, I understood when people were certain Mexican communities were coming out and saying like, hey, like we're not like it's a little too much of a character. Like I don't fuck with it. It's like. Okay, I could definitely see that. Like, the one Mexican dude comes in, he's fast-talking, and, you know, like, Speedy Gonzalez type shit. I could get why that would bother you, you know? Like, for others, it wasn't an issue. But I was kind of, like, having that fear after, like... Because I love her in, like, things like Crazy Rich Asians. I love Awkwafina in, like, almost everything she does, except, like, for the fact that, like, especially in Jumanji, too. But... I was just afraid that they were going to have her come in just to be that, or be like Drax in Guardians 2, of just like, we're basically just the comedy. Mm-hmm. Like all the MCU comedy is going to just come out of you, and while everybody else does this thing. And I like that there was certain scenes where like, they just let her, like they just let her like just be there in the moment with everybody instead of like having to make a quip or something. Like she'll make a quip when it works for the scene and the character, but like in the scene again, like all the water and stuff, like they didn't make no weird like joke about the map or anything. Like, I mean, because I think they did in the next scene, but like in that moment in the scene, she's actually just looking at the map.
Word.
It's not until then later on she's like, look, dude, I just saw like water turn to a map before. Like, I don't know what the fuck is real anymore.
Which is an understandable reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's funny because it's genuine, but again, she didn't ruin the moment by, like, in that scene of trying to like saying it.
She just came through at the end when she shot the nigga in the throat.
Yeah, so like, that's what I'm saying. And again, in that moment, it was a beautiful moment. And then later on, at the end scene is when she's like, yeah, and I just shot an arrow, and I just learned like the day before. Like again, you're using her like the perfect way. It's like you're letting Awkwafina be Awkwafina and funny, but also like getting her character like actual like development and like being in the moment and being serious. Word. So, yeah, I thought again, and the relationship between his father and just the shot.
Even the scene right before the big battle, when her and Shang-Chi were like by the river talking at night. And he told her, and that's what he told her, like, I actually did go through with that mission and all that shit. And, you know, I might have to kill my dad. And walked away. She was mad serious about that shit. Like, it's the exact reason she was saying that. Like, goddamn, well, I don't even know what to say. Like, you know,
like, again, they didn't use her to make it funny about it. Like, their character development was really just well done. And again, like, that shot when he gets the 10 rings and he just comes floating around them, I was just like, yo, this is like my new favorite Marvel hero, like at least in the MCU standard wise. Like
I'm excited to see more from him.
Yeah, like dude, his charisma, like Simlu as Shang-Chi.
I just can't wait for like them two and Tom Holland Spider-Man to get together at some point, because I feel like the quips, I feel like the conversation.
I feel like their chemistry would fucking
word.
And he said that because there is Simu Liu was in an interview and he was talking about how he like would love to adapt The Way of the Spider, which was a storyline where Shang-Chi trained Spider-Man on like the ways of like martial arts and stuff like that.
No, there was a comic about that.
Yeah. And he was like was in an interview saying like, yo, I would love if we did that. So
yeah,
it could be a dope like just like a little thing, like maybe like a scene or something like in like the Avengers 5 or something. You know.
I'm excited to what they're gonna do for the next Avengers, like the new cast. I feel like this can be fun.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna. Yeah, like at first I was like worried about it, but now I'm actually like excited.
Yeah,
like,
now you see all the characters like
yeah. And also his sister.
Gangster. So she whooped his ass, bro.
But you know what I love? Again, this is what I love about the movie, right? This is what I mean about when it comes to like the martial arts, right? You get a little bit of that Jackie Chan, you get the bust stuff that's more the fantasy, you get the fantasy elements in the beginning with his mom and the trees and everything, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, shit like.
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that like in that scene when she like looks at him and immediately just goes running at him, And
so
the way
it's like on site,
but the way she's fighting was like it felt like siblings. Like the way the choreograph was, it was like it's martial arts, but it feels like siblings fighting. Mm-hmm. Like the way she's dirty, like hitting him, the way she's doing it, it's like yes, we're both two equally great fighters. But I'm fighting you dirty though because like you're my brother and I'm pissed at you right now. Like
you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, like you felt like that sibling dynamic from the jump, from the second she saw him.
It was on site for her.
And then the cutting to the flashback. Honestly, I think the cutting back between the flashbacks was done really well. Like,
me too.
They were done just at the moments you need them, where it felt like a comic book, where it's like in a comic book, you could translate real quick on one page to a quick flashback, and then the next page go right back to what was happening, and then boom. Just like knocked them right out cold.
Ass out.
And Wong is just like the GOAT.
I love Wong so much.
Wong is literally just like the low key GOAT of the whole Marvel universe at this point.
So much, bro.
He is. So funny. He is to the MCU what like R2-D2 is to Star Wars.
Pretty much.
Like it's just like you're just that guy. Like most of the stuff.
And you can't really fuck with him either because he'll fuck you up. He beat about out of nowhere like when him and Abomination fought. Like that was just so random. He whooped his ass like.
And then at the end he's like, "You alright? Give him the water." Like,
give him ice. Like you good.
Yeah. And then it's like, "All right, come with me. You got more training to do." It's like, okay, now I want to see where that goes. Right. Like what's going on there?
Oh yeah, because we're trying to look in the background. Like, what's going on back there? I saw Cage.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
what's going on? Exactly. What's going on? What you doing over there, buddy?
It's like Juan, what the fuck are you up to, bro?
Yo, Juan just be doing stuff.
That's why I love him. Like he's Juan like the fuck that. He's like the Snoop Dogg of like the MCU, where it's just like he just be doing shit.
Where
and niggas out fighting Abomination. He's yelling at Doctor Strange not to go cash it. He's singing karaoke. Hotel California funny. With like Shang-Chi. Like he's doing the most random shit.
He's just doing whatever he wants, which is so in character for him that they all did that. Like.
And I even love by the end of the movie they established that it's like, like the two of them like they're now more mature in the sense of okay now we're superheroes, we're gonna save the day,
but we're still gonna have.
But it's like also like we could go home, but we could go get fucked up and go to karaoke, which is like
living the Hotel California.
Yeah, and I love the chemistry. I just love this movie, man. Like this is
phenomenal. All right, for out the bat rating, what would you give it?
Oh, dude, what? This movie's a 10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10 as well.
It's a straight 10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Because it's just, again, great action. To me, no real plot holes. At least none that I've noticed that then people... Because again, like, I'm the type of person that, like, unless the plot hole is really obvious, I really actually don't notice it sometimes until somebody brings it up later on. Then I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that is a plot hole. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll recognize it when I do, but it's like, as of right now, I haven't seen anybody bring up any plot holes. I thought it was a clean story that made sense.
I thought the old Mandarin was hilarious.
Let's talk about that real quick. Ben Kingsley coming back. My name is Trevor Slattery. I'm an actor. That dude.
I'm not actually dead. I'm acting.
It just kind of got me mad because I wish it was like a bigger reaction because I feel like it was one of those things like, if you know, you know. But I feel like they didn't make it obvious enough to people who probably have like only saw Iron Man 3 once in the theater when it came out.
See, I don't think people realized it was him.
I don't think people fully understood. Yeah, and I feel like it's also a thing of like, we had that reaction because we are in this community of people who, pay attention to like, the backgrounds of movie shit.
I didn't even know he was going to be in the movie either. I was like, oh shit, like.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that, but I feel like it's one of those things of like, when you saw him, you understood the reason it's so crazy that he's there is for the fact that when Iron Man 3 came out, while it was a big hit that made $1 billion and, was like, got like certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes, it was like, by the fan community, like, and the comic film community, like, people were not happy with it, like, for the most part. It was controversial. You know what I mean? It's like, it was either you thought the Mandarin reveal was funny, or you thought it was stupid and you were pissed about it because of how hyped people were for it. So to then have them fix it with the real Mandarin and this, like, was dope, but it's also that thing of, like, again, if you know about that and then you see Ben Kingsley show up, you're like, oh, this is a great way to reverse it, and it makes sense. If you didn't, then you're kind of looking at it as like, all right, who's this random like actor dude? Like, is he from the comic or something?
Where the hell was his face?
Because he also just looks so different from how he did in Iron Man 3. That's why it's like, no, I'm talking about Ben Kingsley. No, Ben Kingsley looks fine. That nigga's always looked old, bro. He's always, nigga, he's looked the same since fucking 2005. Like, there's no difference. The only thing is that I mean, like, the actual character looks different. Like, he had long, like, more of, like, a long parted hair. He had, like, the big robot.
He's been trapped there for a
minute.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't actually, like, do any kind of flashback. Like, his beard was, like... Actually, did he even have the beard?
He had a beard, yeah.
But it was, like, I feel like it was smaller. Compared, like, when he had to be the Mandarin, he had, like, the long...
Yeah, he had the long beard, but it was smaller. It was, like, shaved.
Alright, that's what I'm saying. So, it's, like, also, like, even, again, like, that's why I don't think people... Look, because that's like when it happened in the theater. Like you heard a few people go nuts, but for the most part, we were like, because we were like, like
I was going nuts.
we were dying, but like that's what I'm saying. People who knew were dying, but the rest of everybody else was like, okay, like, all right, this guy's here now. And I loved what was his name? What's the name of the little creature?
Oh yeah, I forgot his name too.
Now I gotta look up if they have.
Where's his face?
Where's his face?
Juan is that nigga. So yeah, we're talking about like the post credit scene, how they found like that beacon inside one of the rings, because they actually don't even know where it came from. They said it's not from the world, it's not from the universe. You know what I'm saying? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really curious to know where that's gonna go. Morris.
Morris, yeah.
Yes, Morris. When Morris came out, they were like, "What is that? What is that? What is that thing?" Like, what? Oh,
where's his face?
Yeah, like, yeah, what? Like, and the way they freaked out was just so genuine and like so quick, and like, I love how even knowing that they're in this fantastical world, even they're still like, "But wait, what the heck is that thing?" Like, and he was like, "Oh, what?"
No, they're still in no, because I was in the dungeon of the dude's
I'm
house.
saying the fact that they still know about all this stuff.
Oh,
like, they knew about it. So it's like to then see what but then still freak out like what the heck?
First of all, the mom was airbending and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the whole Talo village was dope as shit too. Like the creatures in there, like the lions and shit, like the battle lions.
Using the dragon scale as weapons.
Yeah,
was dope.
all that shit was great. Yeah, man, I could really go on for days, but this movie for me is a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for me as well.
Yeah. Again, can't wait to see. Yeah, in terms of that post-credit scene, it's just more of like, I feel like that's got more implications on like the Marvel Universe as a whole.
Word.
Of just like, okay, because like for me, I'm looking regardless beyond I feel like that's all everybody's focusing on. It's just like, oh, the beacon. I'm more looking at it as like, bro, they're literally saying this thing is not on any elemental planet. Like, because here's the thing, it's like, look at who you had there in that post-credit scene trying to figure it out. You had Wong, Captain Marvel, and Banner.
Hulk, yeah.
But specifically, look at what they represent in terms of the MCU of what they're saying about these rings. Wong is saying, listen, any sorcery spell, multiverse shit, this ain't none we've seen. Right. And you have Captain Marvel, who is the galactic, she's all through space. She's saying, she's like, girl, there's nothing in any of our databases out here that match this. And then you have Banner, who's the scientist, saying there's literally no materials that even to know what this is made up of. So it's like now they've at least established it can be anything. It is a complete mystery, because now it's like scientifically, extraterrestrially and sorcery, like multiversal wise, like we don't know what the fuck these things are.
The Loki's fucked it all up.
Yeah. So it's like, which actually, speaking of that, they did just confirm that Eternals is going to be taking place at the same time as No Way Home.
Eternals and No Way Home at the same time?
Yeah, going to be taking place during the same time. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
They do come out like a couple weeks apart.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it'll make sense. But yeah, I mean that's really it's it for Shang-Chi. I'm trying to think of let me see if there's
check it out. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
If you made this far, you have.
I guess we could quickly talk about What If.
Sure.
Since we just finished watching it before we started this. What If, the new show on Disney Plus. It's actually been a while since we've done a pod, so we should probably talk about all the episodes. Careful with that, because I think those things fall very easily. So the first episode, the Captain Carter episode, which I thought was pretty good, but to be honest, I don't remember it by this point. The second episode was Star-Lord with Chadwick Boseman. Loved it. Perfect episode. Just loved how they showed how great just the character of T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman are. Episode 3 was the very dark episode with Hank Pym killing all the Avengers. Which is just wild to me, but okay. Like it was one of those, like I liked it because of how crazy they went with it, but it was also kind of like, okay, like that just like seemed like a bit much, like all that just cause like Hope died on a mission, like it makes sense character wise, but it's like I don't understand how attacking any of the like. It's not like the Avengers were made at that point.
Right, that was before that.
Yeah, it was literally as he's recruiting them. So I just didn't get why it's like, I don't get how taking out his recruits is somehow like revenge to you to hurt Nick. Because like Nick Fury doesn't have any connection to these people. It's not like it's not like if you killed Maria Hill, you know what I mean? Like, or i.e. if you did it when, I'd say like after Age of Ultron or something where it's like, you know, Nick Fury and Tony Stark had this real close relationship and all that shit.
Close relationship he had was with Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's like about it, and even then it was like kind of still newish. You know, at least with Hawkeye, it seemed like, or Widow, it seemed like. So it was like, all right, like we'll see. But I mean, other than that, it wasn't. It was still a crazy episode for how balls to the wall they went with it.
Word.
Episode 4 with Doctor Strange was just fucking depressing. But I mean, just I thought it was like a great study on the character of like Doctor Strange in a different perspective.
Yeah. Of
a version of him that actually was in love and like could accept that he was in love and wanted to give it a try. And then this week's episode with the zombies, I loved it. I
thought it was dope.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like what I like is again about this what if stuff is we know the premises, but because like that's all we know, we don't know who's really going to be in these episodes, who's the shining people are going to be. So like. You know, by the time they had, like, the zombie episode, I didn't think it was going to be, like, because they had, like, the toys come out, right? Mm-hmm. And the toys had, like, a animated Spider-Man from this show with the Doctor Strange cape.
Yeah.
So because of that mixed with the zombie stuff, and they didn't show any of the other characters in the trailer for that episode, people were like, oh. Like, we knew Bucky was going to be there at one point, because the first trailer showed, like, images showed Bucky versus Zombie Cap, but we were like, other than that, it looked like for some reason Spider-Man became the new Sorcerer Supreme or something. That's what people thought was gonna happen. And so then to like have like this completely different version of that story.
Yeah.
And then
like literally the levitation cape was just trying to help.
Yeah, and then to like have Spider-Man, I just thought he was handled in such a beautiful way, like in this episode. And the guy who played him, like again, sounded like Tom Holland in certain parts that it was hard for me to tell that it wasn't him. So they did a great job. Again, I love having for the most part, most of the voice cast from the actual movies because it makes it feel more cohesive. Like it makes the Marvel universe feel like one big thing. You know, kind of like Star Wars and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, what is your thoughts been on What If so far? I mean, because I know, like for me, like I read a lot of What If comics, like growing up, like you know, Wolverine versus Batman, Cap versus Batman, like things like that. So it's like I'm used to stuff like that. You know, like to then see your reaction to be like, wait, that's it? Of this week's episode. So like, I'm curious, like, what is like a series like this for somebody who didn't really read a lot of that growing up? Well,
it's nice to see like something like the first couple episodes were kind of okay for me. So I felt like it was just like a story they were telling, and that's it.
Because they wrapped up the first few ones where they wrapped it up. So.
Exactly. For the last two between Doctor Strange and this one, it's just like it's a whole different from that. You know what I'm saying? Because like it keeps the what if still in your head even when the credits are rolling at the end. So when the credits start rolling and you're sitting there like, whoa, what the fuck's supposed to happen next? And then it's just nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
no post-credit scene. No.
I love that because like it gives you a bit more room to give you interpretation of like the world they just showed you. You know what I'm saying of this timeline, whatever. It just keeps your mind open. I feel like when they show Thanos, like most of the fucking Infinity Stones, like.
And now you know they're on their way with the last one. Don't even know. Like,
imagine if he gets all the Infinity Stones as a zombie. Like, what if he got all the Infinity Stones as a zombie? Yo, bro, he would. That I don't even know what would happen.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, T'Challa got one leg cut off, so it's not like that can help unless you get a vibranium leg real quick. Like, I mean, it's Wakanda, so they might.
I'm saying they might be able to. That's probably easy. You know? They did it for Bucky. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, no, like that shit is I'm liking it a lot so far. I think it definitely showed that I don't think they started that strong with the, you know, at the gate, but I think they just progressively have gotten better and more interesting.
I agree.
and it clearly seems like they're leading up to some type of like crossover with all these heroes from these what if stories.
Maybe,
so it's like,
yeah.
So like the other trailers have shown like clips of like all them together. So it's like, okay, they're somehow going to make all these connect. It's just gonna see how. And I love like the Watcher, the way they're using the Watcher as like this background guy, or like, and I love like every episode like, there's gonna be a certain shot where they're traveling somewhere and he's just in the background looking.
Or like it's just like sometimes they make a bad song. There'll be like a reflection. Like sometimes I was watching, so I saw him like in a reflection. You see like his face and his eyes and all that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, that's dope. I fuck with that.
Yeah, they're handling him very, very well.
Yeah, and how he kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit talking to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all.
He's like, I know you're there. Can you can't help or nothing like that? He's like, nah, nigga. Like, I can't interfere.
Yeah, no, Marvel's they're killing it right now. So between that and Shang-Chi, so it's a good time. Then we got Venom, Let There Be Carnage, just moved out to October 1st. So yeah, so gotta get all that. Yeah, I think that's all I got in terms of new stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to see Candyman or Free Guy. I'm very excited for James Wan's new movie this Friday, Malignant.
Oh yeah, that's the first one. That looks dope.
Other than that, there hasn't really been much. Yeah. I mean, have you been watching anything new? I haven't been able to catch up on any of my TV or none of that. Yeah. Oh wait, well hold up. Fucking looking at your shirt, dumbasses. Dumbass number 1 and 2 sitting here, like they don't know how to run a podcast or come up with material to make. Fucking the Rick and Morty fucking finale. So we haven't really done like obviously a week to week when it comes to Rick and Morty because it's like it's obviously for me it's my favorite fucking animated show. So when it comes to this, I like to wait to the end and really take my time with like digesting what it is they brought in each season. I think this is another season that does what Rick and Morty just does best, which is they give you these surface weird episodes that if you actually pay attention to like the stuff they talk about after like the episodes, like when they talk about like, the behind the scenes stuff, and just comments like Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland have made like in interviews, and then like things that they come up with in these episodes, like you kind of realize that it's like Rick and Morty is kind of just one big kind of parody of society in a way that South Park is, but I feel like they specifically stick to the relationship between entertainment and the consumer. Like that is really what Rick and Morty has kind of really become, I think, these last 2 to 3 seasons. Where
did you see the commercial with Christopher Lloyd?
Oh yeah, loved it. But I really feel like this whole show is really becoming this like commentary and relationships between everything. Where it's like, so you had season 1, right? Season 1, it was like random, but this little through lines, throughout the whole thing of obviously like, alright, they had left one universe, so like they're trying to figure out how to adjust and being in this new one. Morty learning, okay, like there's this whole big world of Rick and Mortys that live out there. Word. Then you have season 2, which I think season 2 really went in the direction, which is why it's kind of probably my favorite season, of just episodicness. Just really random shit. And I remember that time, they took mad long to come out. Because this is after when you guys put me onto it, right? There was only 2 seasons so far. We were still waiting on season 3. It had taken mad long to come out. And everybody was kind of mad because they thought, I thought we were going to get more stuff about Evil Morty and this and that. And, people have been complaining about, like, why like, all this stuff just so, like, disconnected? Like, why is there no, like, through line? And that's what season 3 was like. So, and then season 3 kind of did, it's like, alright, well, if we're going to go linear, we're at least going to use the wackiness to be linear.
Word.
So they did that first blending of, okay, season 3, we're going to deal with the divorce. And we're going to deal with the divorce by using each episode of them doing random shit because none of them want to acknowledge what's going on. Like the Mad Max episode where it's like, the whole point of that was like Summer didn't want to go home and deal with their dad moving out. Yeah. So it's like, all right, I'm just gonna go here and just murder a bunch of people, and then Morty was just like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do the same. It's like, and then by the end of it, by the end of it with, Jerry getting back with, Beth and everything, and like, the whole cloning shit. It's like, okay, like, so basically, I just remember the time. If you then go to season 4, like the episode with the train, with the I can't remember the name of the episode, but talking about the one with the train and ended up being like a toy that Morty had bought and shit. Yeah. Right. I just remember at that time, like if you.
The conductor guy got cut in half.
Yeah. So at the end, when Rick's having like that little argument at Morty of just like buy shit, it's a pandemic, like nobody cares about things, like that was kind of the first like time they, not first time, but like one of the few times like they blatantly were like commenting on shit like that. But if you kind of look throughout season, because I can't remember the name of the video. I'm trying to remember the YouTube video that did it, but there was a YouTube video that basically broke down. Basically all the like the hidden messages within season 4 that basically is Rick and Morty commenting on how they don't want to do through lines. They want to be more episodic. For them it's more fun like creating the shows when they're random as fuck.
Word.
Compared to you guys want all these answers to every question we raise, while the whole point of the show is it's more fun to raise these questions. And now like the show has become this thing of like, okay, we're gonna throw up some questions. And we'll throw in some linear shit, like Rick said in the finale. So like getting to last night's finale, like Rick said, like the last episode when after they showed him, they showed his backstory. The first thing, when Morty's about to comment on it, immediately Rick shuts him up and it's just like, all right, good. Now everybody on the internet can stop bitching about it, and then they can really move on, because like that's the whole point. Like we don't care to show you every little thing.
Word.
Only you guys care.
Even the
and you're hurting our show and our process and our creativity. And that's why we take so fucking long between all these seasons. And that's why I think the time span between these seasons have gotten shorter the last 2, and they're probably between the next one.
Because they stopped giving a fuck.
Because exactly, they're now at the point of not giving a fuck. Like it's just like, bro, whatever, fuck it. Okay, we're gonna just do our own shit. Will some episodes be through lines? Yeah, if we want to and if it makes sense. But other than that, and that's why I love this season. I feel like this season was more randomness than through lines. Mm-hmm. And except for the last episode, there was not many through line episodes.
I think one other episode, that was it. Yeah.
So that's why
which is the bird person episode.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That's it. Yeah. Other than that, I have loved the most part like the season 5. Like Word. I would say like this.
Like, start off with the Mr. Nimbus shit. That made no sense.
Exactly. Exactly. And like like they had like little hints like when he's like stop trying to make again like even that like when he's like, oh Rick, you used to be different before Diane. He's like, stop trying to make a backstory connection. Like
Word.
Again like they're gonna constantly address it. Where it's like we know you want the backstory, but we're not gonna give it to you. Yeah. But other than that, I thought this season was great. I can't wait for the next one. Yeah, like I said, it's my favorite animated show, so it's not like I'm gonna be very biased. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I think it's like I'm not gonna sit here and say like every episode's perfect and it's for everybody. It's just, but for me as a fan, for what I look for in Rick and Morty, I got it this season. So yeah, I got my quotables.
If it hits you, hits you. You know what I'm saying? I feel the same. I very much enjoy this season. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm just I'm a watcher who like just enjoys what they do. So I like if they decide to go with the linear, if they don't, like I don't care either way because I know I'm gonna enjoy it regardless at the end of the day. Which I feel like more people should start thinking of it that way. I feel like people get way too invested, especially with a show like Rick and Morty, where it's like it's not always linear. Like it's already been proven. It's the 5th season already, nigga. Like get over it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like just have fun with the show. They're having fun making it. Have fun with it. It's like they are geniuses. So because the episodes are crazy.
I think the best is like I think the problem is I feel like people want too much like connection between like the actual stories of like okay evil Morty pick up that storyline and make it this big epic thing when it's like because that's what we're kind of conditioned to. Where I look at it as like nah I like it when it's more episodic because then it has time to develop like because then I feel like there is a linear story which is the actual development of these characters. So when you look at like the randomness right of episode 1. But the whole thing is Morty's finally got this date with Jessica and he's really trying to like get somewhere. Then you go about 2 episodes later where, he meets the superhero chick that's basically like the Captain Planet. right? The whole thing is like him, really falling for this chick and like to a point where it's like, okay, now he's finally not trying to be with somebody like Jessica.
Word.
So it's like they're two random episodes, but it has kind of a through line of developing Morty as like, okay, now he's a teenager, he's gonna want to start getting into girls, but now instead of just being a young kid where he's like he's goo goo gaga over one girl, it's like, no, now he's starting to explain like, okay, like nah, I'm starting to fuck around with this chick. Now I've gone on mad adventures with Rick. You know what I mean? Like I've now seen the universe, the world. Like my horizons now are different to me, and my perspective is different. So
They have the next episode where Morty uses the horse jacking off machine, or whatever, and then
again, it's like
making an incest baby.
Exactly,
and
like, that's
what?
more again development of his character. It's like, okay, I'm trying to get these girls, I can't get these girls, and I'm a horny ass teenager. So, and I Rick is my uncle, my grandpa. Like, of course I'm gonna get into some weird ass shit where now it's like, okay, I'm a stupid enough teenager that for some reason I fucked this machine, and now thanks to that my grandpa's sci-fi shit, like there's now like semen flying around like trying to kill us all.
Mm-mm. It's an incest baby to him and his sister. Like what?
Yeah, like
what?
And then they don't again like they. But I like how they kind of at least like did something linear with that, where it's like
the next
we
episode
bring
they
it
talk
back,
about it,
but not in a way of like trying to tell a story. We brought it back as a joke.
Word.
Like it was just
Word.
like a punchline we decided to do, like a few episodes later.
Word.
But yeah, I will say the last three really is kind of like a weird trilogy of like, just really delving into Rick.
Word.
I'm actually shocked right now to see some of these ratings though. What people gave it. Like I would not have given some of these such low ratings. But
5.6 now. Damn.
that's what I'm saying. Like 5.6 for the Morty one, and then 6.4 for the one where they all teamed up with Super. I like that.
8.5,
one.
8.7, 8.9, 9.7. Nice.
I mean, that's also it just came out last night, so we still gotta.
That's true.
Yeah, still gotta wait a bit on that one. But yeah, I can't wait for season 6.
Honestly,
Hopefully
facts,
it comes
because
out soon.
I feel like everybody had a little bit of a character development too. Because you see Summer, that one episode with Summer and Rick, when he kept trying to find those fucking badger shits, robots. They were like the fucking what are they called? The fucking the Power Rangers shits when they were doing all that. Shit. Yeah. But she was just kind of feeding into his addiction, just so she could be loved or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting to see, because then you see Summer also coming into her own, even though she wasn't really part of the last 3 episodes at all. Because I feel like that was mostly just Rick and Morty's, with their breakup and getting back together shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, none of the family was actually really there the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those last 3 episodes. Which is interesting, I guess.
Yeah. But I figured we do a nice little segment before we wrap up. Because we want to still figuring out this podcast. So we want to add some new segments. Just to do something.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like fun. I'm down.
Yeah, so I figured right now before we end this episode, we at least give a nice little tribute. We'll call it our giving flowers section or some shit like that.
Aww.
Just our time to big up somebody. So just kind of I guess if you want to bring up I guess since we're doing movie topics, but either it could be a movie, a show, a director, writer, actor, just somebody in that vein of just something or someone you want to big up that you just want to just kind of give some props to. Give yourself a second to think about that.
That's a lot. There's a lot of people I love to do that.
I mean, like I said, I think we do this at the end of each pod, so it's we got time to always give it to somebody. It just depends if you want to pick that day. So I think today, just randomly, I guess I'll give it to, I want to give it to Viola Davis.
Okay, that's a good one.
Just because Viola Davis is just, in my eyes, it's when people say Meryl Streep's the GOAT, to me it's everything people love about Meryl Streep, I look at Viola Davis and I go, she's doing the same thing. Word. You know what I mean? I just think she, again, people talk about understanding the assignment, she gives out the assignments. She's on a whole different level to me than anybody else. I think the intensity Viola Davis brings to everything she does, she's a whole different level. you know, because now the Suicide Squad, I was watching it, you know, the other night before it went off HBO Max, and, you know, so I just wanted to big her up, because she's just, most projects I look at her in, it's like, I'm just like, you're too good for this. And when she's at her highest of highs or in something that does deserve her, I'm just like, yeah, this is why nobody's on your level. So yeah, I was trying to give my flowers to Viola Davis this week. She's the
Flowers of the week.
Yeah.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, she's the GOAT. Like, people talk about the person, like, she's the person to me. So, I don't think there's anybody really better than her. So,
She's that guy.
Yeah.
She is
other
that
than
guy.
other than maybe Daniel Day-Lewis and like Rob De Niro, I would say, is up there, and like I think she's better than Denzel, to be honest with you. Like, I'll be the one to say it. Like, I think even if you see Fences, I think she's running circles around that nigga. Like, don't get me wrong, Denzel's Denzel. He is who he is because he's Denzel. But again, just in my opinion, like, you put Viola Davis with anybody in the room, she's the best actress she's the best actor in that room. I don't think there's anybody. I think you can put people in a room with her that can match her. Again, a Denzel can match her. You know, Meryl Streep is probably the one person I can think of that can definitely like Vegeta Goku shit could like literally match her eye to eye type shit. But other than that, like, I don't see anybody above her.
Mm-hmm.
So Viola for me is like, she's the one. Like, when people talk about like who's my favorite, who's my GOAT of actors, all together, like it's Viola. So
One to Viola.
one to Viola.
For me, I don't know. It's tough. You know, there's a lot of actors and actresses out there that I love and adore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, me, I'm a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan. Love the guy. Love every single one of his movies. Yeah, Robert De Niro too. I fuck with him. But an actor that really comes out for me. Interesting. Who should I give that?
Like I said, it could be an actor, it could be a movie, it could be just like anything that.
Oh.
Yeah, it could just be anything in that vein of the movie world, the industry that you just want to big up and give flowers to.
Alright. Okay. I haven't really watched any movies lately.
Brought to you by, sponsored by, leave a like and subscribe.
Yeah, that one.
Well, anyway, I guess I will use this time to promote, but try to give a nice subscribe, keep us afloat.
Word.
We'd appreciate it.
We're barely swimming right now.
Word. If we sound like we don't care, it's not that we don't. It's just we are too awkward to like enthusiastically ask people to do something, because it's like, I don't know. I feel weird asking people to do stuff.
Of course, you know what I'm saying? Because we want to service.
Like my stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess
Yeah.
it's like it if you genuinely want to, but it's like, I also want you to like, because it helps. So it's like a weird, I don't know.
And I feel like we talk about the right stuff. We're good, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, no, but it's like one of those, like, it's like, I just want to be real, you know what I'm saying? I would like you to subscribe. I would like for you to like it. It would really help. But I also, like, don't want to force you, and I know I can't force you, and I feel like I just sound weird asking. So it's like,
It's weird to ask.
because I feel like it is a weird thing. It's a weird thing to ask somebody to, like, because to me it's like the equivalent of, like, it's the online equivalent of, like, being like, yo, buy my mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do that, because you gotta get yourself out there. But it is like,
I hate it.
yeah, you like, there's just something about it that you just hate.
Word. Because you don't want to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to shove it in people's faces, you know?
Yeah.
You just want people to love it for what it is, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want to be like, don't be forcing shit down people's throats like that.
I concur. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, alright guys, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
Until next time. See you on the flippity flip. Jared and Alan.
We are out.
Nerdy show.